Okay, can we get started? All right, guys, I'm Dan. Welcome to the first edition of Field Notes. Field Notes is an interview series brought to you by Zabam and Sexto. It's aimed to encourage meaningful conversations about the music industry. We're planning on filming this here at the Sexto Station based in Lisbon. The plan is to always have two guests and one host. Today, I am your host. And these sessions will be open to the public, so stay tuned to all of our platforms, Sexto and Zabam, for news on when we're filming. The goal of this series is to create opportunities to connect, educate, exchange ideas, and explore new perspectives within the music scene. So, it's my pleasure to introduce our first two guests who continue to make their mark in the Lisbon scene through their unique musical visions. First up, we have Valentin. Hello, Valentin.
Hi, Dan.
Valentin is the co-founder of Sexto, Crepúsculo, and Sexto Station. Since moving to Lisbon from Ukraine, he has become a familiar face here in the Lisbon scene, organizing numerous successful events in his community, pushing boundaries and introducing innovative concepts here in the city. Next up, we have Kevin. How are you, Kevin?
I'm good. Thanks.
Excellent. Also known as Seiva. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Perfect. Kevin is the founder of the Outra Cena, a club that has disrupted the city music scene with its unique venue, audiovisual production, diverse programming, and community. It's a place to explore new sounds with an open-minded environment. So, Valentin, let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, how you got into music, and why you do what you do?
I am actually music like a music lover. I think from 2000, from the youth, but I first time connected to the electronic music in 2005. From that time, I every time excited about the some of musical events, but in organizing of the something about music, I am from 2017 when I created the project Kultura Zvuka in Ukraine, and until 2022 it was the very highly growth the project with the club, music school, label, and a lot of people around in Ukraine. But when the war started and we moved here, they start to create this project here. I can't imagine my life without organizing such kind of things. I think everybody think do they do right things or not, and how to recognize you do the right things. As for me, that's when you feel energy to do that. If you feel energy in every step of you do, you're on the right way. That's my calibration of my desires and way to go. So I feel now that I inspired and have a lot of potential and energy to do this stuff around the Sexto, Crepúsculo, this place, and I'm happy with that. That's because I do.
Kevin, you've been here for almost 10 years. Sweet. Why don't you also tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into music and why you do what you do?
I've always been quite fascinated by electronic music. I first discovered it through cassettes that my cousins would bring from Technivals in the 90s, listening to them in my room with my brother. And then with years that went by, I discovered it directly through raves and parties and going to clubs. And for me, it was the whole new world that was opening, and I've always been really fascinated by the capacity of parties and clubs to transport you in a complete different world where everyone can be different persons or be themselves. And when arriving in Lisbon, I had already had some experience with playing music, but more like I was the guy that would put music in the parties of friends, or I was running the student bar of my school, and I was always like putting music, but never had felt the legitimacy to play as a DJ. And when arriving in Lisbon, I felt that this city is kind of giving this energy that you can try things and really take the initiative. So I felt confident enough to try to learn about DJing, and little by little I got some gigs. And it was after one gig at Casa Independent that someone told me, yeah, there's these guys that are opening a club in Lisbon. Soon you should be the resident DJ, blah, 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 blah. At the time, I was really eager to play in any party. So I said, yes, for sure. I want to meet them. And I ended up playing the opening party of a club that was called Le Baron, Lisboa. And after the party that went really well, they asked me to do all the bookings of the club, the artistic direction. So I started to do that, and quickly I didn't have enough time to deal with the other small juice company that I had founded at the time. Juice company, yeah.
Like fruit juice.
As in, yeah, vegetable and fruit juice.
Nice.
They were delicious, but they were made in the morning and delivered in the morning. And I literally didn't have time nor energy to find new clients. So at some point, I was like, okay, either I go with nightlife, which is more a passion, or the other one that I really like to, but didn't connect it as emotionally as with nightlife and music.
Sure.
So I continued in this path, and that's why I arrived in it. And in the meantime, I was always been dreaming of creating my own place. I really love like doing layouts and designing and thinking spaces, and to create space where people can encounter and new stories can emerge, inspirations can arise. This really was something that I was chasing, and I wanted to create a place that could maybe give the same emotions that I had when I arrived in whatever club in a foreign city or somewhere, or party where I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. I want to be part of it. So I felt really driven by this, and this experience running a club, smaller one, gave me the confidence to start my own. And from that point on, I looked for dozens and dozens and dozens of places during years, up until I found this place. And when I saw it, I was okay. That's the one. So I told the person that was looking for people to rent spaces in that huge compound of warehouses, you're gonna give me that space, and I'm gonna create a good club there. And yeah, the rest went well. It was really interesting to imagine how the place would work, and the dynamics of it. While it was not working at all, it was daytime. It was really not feeling magical, but the place was sure interesting. And the first night of opening, when all the lights were aligned and got lit, and people started to arrive, it felt very very emotional for sure.
I can imagine. You mentioned that like wow moment, that first club that you go to that you're like, wow, what is this? For me, it was like 2012 or 13. I went to Katerholzig in Berlin, and it was unlike anything I had ever seen, like in terms of production, in terms of vibe, like the music culture, the music itself, location, everything was pretty crazy. What was that club for you?
Um, there was several. I think the first one that really got me hooked because of its maze-like layout was Renate in Berlin. Really a place that you can arrive and completely lose yourself in. You can, yeah, spend countless out there, and it's very interesting. The one that that really got me, okay, wow, this is outstanding, and I still think it's the the best club I've seen in my life, is K41 in Kiev.
K41.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing place.
Nice.
I definitely remember the Club Chalet in Berlin, but it's don't exist anymore. It's closed. It was a good experience there and not as well. Actually, my first experience in the club was in Berlin as well, and yeah, the K41 amazing. By the way, why Outra Cena?
The name?
Yeah,
So I was looking for a name of club with two words because I like the sound of it. I think it just sounds better. So I started with that logic of say, let's find a name with two words. Then it needs to be in Portuguese because I want the project, despite being created by a French dude, to feel like it is made with the locals in mind and Portuguese people in mind. And then, yeah, I tried to find combinations that had a good ring, that sounded well, that kind of made sense. And the idea with Outra Cena was to bring something fresh and different with another take on like the club scene. And for this, I started to think, okay, Outra, okay, this could work. Then from Outra, then I tried with another like other combinations of word, and I really liked Senna because it has this double meaning, scene and thing, and it's something that it's also very silly name because like when you speak Portuguese, it's really a word that comes always uma cena, vou-te falar numa cena, etc. And since I was in Portuguese, I tried it with people I knew, like a lot of Portuguese friends, and it was mostly a positive opinion about that. Some would think that it sounded a bit silly or stupid, but most of it was, it's funny, and it's such a basic combination of words. But I like that now, whenever people are using what outra cena or whatever, they associated it with the club. So yeah, that's
Why Sexto?
Sexto, that's a six, Portuguese, and we also try to make the name related to our previous brand, Cultura Zvuku, and our club was located on Kharkiv embankment 6 number of the house, and number of the house of our club.
Talking about events, right? You guys host parties, organize parties, produce parties. What, in your opinion, is some of the most important factors that make a successful event and a memorable event? Valentin?
In my opinion, the successful or not event, it's very related to the people and what they feel during the party. I think a lot of combinations what we do, like visual experience, sound experience, people, atmosphere, the values we explore, and it matters to make people inspired or to feel something outside from their like regular life. Why people go to the clubs? As for me, to feel the transpersonal experience, to feel something different from the life, to be in a new roles, to for sure, some the club culture is very like related to the drug culture, but it's possible, I think, to produce such kind of of experience without, and it depends of the lot of things, like how we create the space, how we create the light, the sound, the quality of sound, the music, the people around, and also the values and ideas. For example, um, if you create something different, some of new, and people come to your party and feel like the part of the creation of something, and that gives this feeling of the good party.
I agree that it all comes down to the crowd and and the energy of the people in the club. And for that, I like the idea of an organized chaos where people arrive and they feel that they are very free to express themselves, but also they feel that whoever is behind the scenes are in control so that they can let go, knowing that they are taken care of and it's not all over the place, so that they know, okay, these persons, they know what they are doing. I'm in safe hands and I can really party hard and discover and wander around because I know that all through the nights I will be taken care of. Be in a spirit of discovery, of expression, and of communion, but at the same time to feel that there are certain rules
Sure.
that create a structure. That's not a lecturing structure where you tell people what they need to do, whatever, but it's just a structure created by people that care very much about the club scene and the party scene, so that they know what they are doing, and I trust this organization to really throw a good party so that I can express myself, knowing that I'm I'm quite safe and I'm gonna
So it's a good point. I think there's a lot of touch points, right? It starts with the communications, like on social media, where you talk about your values. It also at the door. I know when I've gone to Outra Cena, especially the first time, they say, "Is this your first time?" And they kind of tell you what this club is about and what it's not about. I think this is all very important leading up to it. So it's a good point. Um, Now, when we're talking about the booking process for your programming, what is your creative process? I don't know if you guys do it yourself for Sexto and for Outra Cena. If you have a team that's focused on the artist bookings, what is your approach, and how does that affect a specific night? Are there certain days of the week, for example, that you're trying to curate a specific sound or attract to a different crowd? At Outra Cena, how do you guys manage the booking? What's your creative process there?
So for now I still do the bookings by myself. I have a production team that helps me to make the whole process flow better, but the selection I still do myself. And regarding the process, I first and foremost do it with my taste, but also trying to challenge myself and go a bit broader than just what I listen to or am interested in. I like artists that's where I feel that they educate themselves about the scenes, and they do it with really a lot of passion and dedication. and where things are being done meaningfully. And about offering certain style of music, I don't really follow a rule. I try generally to have nice contrasts between the two rooms, just because to not get too boring or redundant, and also to address all sorts of people because there are so many shades of rave nowadays. Uh, Always trying to find things that are, to me, either cutting edge or have a lot of soul, or are just like some of the most interesting rave music at the moment. But I like to remain always quite with a broad spectrum of genres, to not be felt as a club that does just one type of music and address just one community. I would like people to come for the club and just feel that they're going to discover nice stuff, and they trust our judgment and our taste, and they know that each night they're gonna discover some great music. So I guess that's the logic I'm following, and also something that's obviously very important. In addition to some of the international bookings that we do, or also local bookings, I'm trying to give as much space as possible to different type of promoters that I think are doing interesting work and bringing something nice to the scene, so that they can grow, they can have a space to express themselves. Many of them are either young or not privileged, and I like the club to be a space that's fairly easily available for people without big means, but a lot of will and passion to have a space of expression. So that's definitely a mission that I'm trying to follow.
Valentin, you've got Sexto and you've got Crepúsculo. Do you have the same approach for both of those events when it comes to the booking process?
Crepúsculo a little bit different from the Sexto, because it's focused more about some of experience inside, but not only music. It's about the people, the vibes, the sexuality, the expression, and Sexto more focused to the music. So in Crepúsculo we are not so much focused on the lineups, and really open for the more like unnamed and very different range of the music styles. And Sexto, that's more music focused party, and also I do lineups by myself, and usually not follow the mainstream and try to deliver some of fresh vibes, something new. I don't like too much the straight kick music. We focused on the breakbeat, on bass, on some of electro stuff. Yeah, and not follow to the big names, and I just follow my taste and some of people I like.
Do you guys think people attending events are more focused on the music or the experience that they're going to have at an event?
I don't know. It's for me the boss. I definitely think that the production also matters, like a good sound, lights, all facilities, all on the party, and we also provide almost on at all the parties the tea corner to drink a tea and chill. That we set up our sound system to deliver the quality sound, and all things matter. It's like a full experience of everything gives the this feeling of the good party. as for me.
And at Outra Cena, do you think people go for the music, for the experience, or for both?
I cannot speak from this for themselves, and this is something clearly that at some point I would like to ask people. I think it's a combination, and also that's depending on who comes, the expectations or the points they like about the club are different. For sure, people pay attention to the programming. This I'm quite convinced about it. Clearly, I think the production aspect of things is really important. I think the just approach that is booking DJs and then having no special care about sound systems, lights, and overall organization of the flow is a big mistake. So it's when all parameters come together that I think people can like it, and also our staff I think makes a huge difference and is has a very huge responsibility for lots of people that come because many of them are from the nightlife world. Whoever comes also is from the same communities as them. So really, the club owes its team a lot of its success, and I also have the will to keep bringing things that go beyond just the music, because for me, the club, when you spend that many hours in a place, it's not always just about the music. You need the chill space that are comfortable. You need sometimes other stuff. Sometimes many parties they are workshops or where people can express themselves in nighttime in this otherworldly experience that can be a club or an event and a party, but not necessarily around just the dance floors. So this obviously is something that sometimes works better with other type of events, festivals, and such. I wouldn't like also to depopulate our dance floors because it's hard enough to bring enough people to fill up a club that's this size in a city like Lisbon. So things needs to be done with a certain balance. But I guess yeah, that's a whole, and each person has its own reason to go to the club, and I want everyone to feel like there is something they come for and that they are being listened to.
Outra Cena in this sense, so cool place that you have opportunity to travel, like more hard music, more soft music, there's something around communication, people, like connection, and each party it's very valuable when you have the availability to travel around and have the different kind of experience.
Sexto's always switching locations, right? You guys,
We change the locations, but it's not our like desire to be in different clubs, but it's necessary thing for now because we every time explore.
do you think Sexto will ever find a home of its own?
I hope sometime, but it's also good to travel. Yeah,
Sure. Do you always rely on the sound of each venue, or do you guys also have your own sound that you?
usually we set up our own the void sound system. We brought it from Ukraine, from our club, and it sounds good. And yeah, so we have the technical team, and we are professional in that. Yeah, so
Nice. And at Outra Cena, you guys have loud sound system, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're happy with it?
Very happy, and it sounded even better, especially in one room after the Sexto team did acoustic treatment on it. So when you have people that share the same, how do you say that, exigência?
Exigencia. They're demanding demand for excellence. let's call it.
Exactly. So the standards, high standards, I found with them, and I knew they were serious about that. My technical director also knew they were serious about that, so they very kindly suggested to help us, and they did a tremendous job. And after they did, we really started to sound closer to what we wanted to sound. And from that point on, DJs that were touring and came, the club really left it with like wonderful feedback about it, and word spreads, and that's number one thing that's like DJs are asking about clubs
Yeah.
before knowing if they want to play them or not, is like, how does it sound? Everyone has his own like criterion, but for sure for artists it's very important that it sounds well, and obviously for the crowd. So yeah, thanks to these guys,
Nice.
Yeah,
we reached a good level, I think.
and that I just my observation for the last 2 years that Lisbon is grow up with the quality of production. I think because of such guys like you to prepare the space more properly about the sound. Another one clubs like already have the like plank and level where to grow, because everybody like have in mind some competition, like if someone goes more like quality, everybody wants to go up. I think that's a very right direction for the Lisbon in general.
Good. I support it. I like good sound. Do you have to calibrate the sound often? Or recalibrate the sound often?
We start we always have a sound engineer present in the room, in like going from one room to another, so we're always doing some adjustments in real time. But we start to know our system quite well now, so our presets are quite well um, um, made and thought, so the changes are marginal. But whenever we have live or changeover with different mixers, etc., we can always adjust. And yeah, we have a specific team in charge of that, because it's part of for me, the requirements of what a good club is.
Absolutely. You have to recalibrate or calibrate every time you guys have an event.
Yeah, that's another one part of our like business here in Lisbon. We rent out the sound system and adjust the sound system, and we install the sound system. Uh, Already did the project for the Badasserie. That's a new venue by Torch from Late Night Shop, and reinstall there the Void sound system. And I think it will be open soon. So we invest in sound quality of Lisbon.
Sweet.
Yeah.
What's the most challenging type of space for you guys when it comes to sound? Like material, ceiling height?
Do you mean the sum of venue?
Yeah, the type of venue. Like for me, my favorite type of room is like a low ceiling wood floor. Is like usually what's sounding best for me. What's like the most challenging when it comes to dialing in the sound into a space?
That's any space with the naked walls. It's every time challenging to make the good sound there. But usually, if it's some of stable place to prepare with some sound preparation panels, I don't know. But usually we try to just reduce some of frequencies to reduce the reflection, and that's it. Yeah.
You've got one very low ceiling and one quite high ceiling
Yeah.
at Outra Cena. Okay, I imagine the parameters are a little different for each room.
They are, but the low ceiling one was easier to set up. It had one main problem, was it was a big echo, because it was a huge tunnel, so it would just bounce back and forth in the length of the room. And we managed to fix that with, I climbed, and my climbing wall near the club one day had all these foam mattresses in front of it, because they were getting rid of everything, like selling them. So I bought the whole lot, and we used them as materials, like to absorb the sound, and we built a gigantic wall of foam at the end of the room, so right on the left when you enter directly from the entering stairs, and that's helped kill this echo. And the rest, since the ceiling is quite low, it resulted in quite a matte sound, and quickly it sounded quite well. And obviously the best soundproofing sound absorber is human flesh. So whenever it starts to fill up, it's already it's quite nice. It could be obviously better, but it was also a aesthetical choice, because Anoni Malucci, the light studio that did the whole light design of the club, they did this. They used UV paint on the walls to create another shape of the room whenever the UV lights are on. And for it to work, the walls needed to be naked. So they are still naked, but it could be even better if we were to pad the whole walls with acoustic material. But I like how it sounds. It's, I think, a good compromise, and also it would reduce even more the space. So you adjust to whatever is given, and that's what we did with this room.
I think it was an interview or a documentary about Hopetose, and the sound engineer there was talking about the sound, and that they had two different settings, one for when the space was full and one for when the space was not full, because it does make a big difference. Human flesh is a big absorber of sound. Excellent. I'd like to transition to speak a little bit about community. You guys have two quite big communities. What do you think is the process to build a community? How did you guys build your community, and tell us a little bit about yours specifically?
As for me, the community grows organically and according to your inner values and vision. How do you like express yourself in stuff you do? Uh, this attract the people who likes or not. And if someone like this way you do, they attract to the community and share with you your taste, your style. And it's not only my, probably that's about all our team, the partners and the Sexto. So all of our team express and translate the sum of things, and the community grows organically. I never use such kind of like wide marketing to attract all the people around, but we very appreciate the crowd we have, and try to fill it with the people who share with us the values. And that's it. Yeah, the community grows organically.
Did you already have a foundation, like community, when you arrived here in Lisbon? I know there is a lot of Ukrainian people that are living here.
Yeah, when we started to do parties here, it was, I think, 80% or maybe more of Ukrainians, the first party, because we recognizable in Ukraine as a previous brand, Cultura Zvuku, and everybody knows us. But now, I think Ukrainians maybe 25% of the crowd. So we go to the way of international brand and not just focused on the to keep Ukrainian community. Ukrainian community for sure is valuable for us, but we would like to create more international, to make the mixed culture for the Ukrainians as well, to make the benefits for them, and for us not like stick to one of ethnical groups, and to make it more wide international.
When was the first Sexto party?
In April 23.
Okay, that's when I arrived as well.
Yeah.
And how much has your community grown, if you could put a number on it?
In numbers, or
Has it quadrupled? Has it doubled?
it's very unstable, because the first party, it was almost 700 people, and it was biggest party we do ever, because of the first and hype. Maybe the lineup also was great, and yeah, the community grow, and now we have, I don't know, more than 10K, but I don't know exactly how many subscribers. I measure it in the subscribers in Instagram. But we in the same time do the Crepúsculo, and it's another one community. It's a sub-brand, and the crowd is cross a bit, but not all the people who visit in the Crepúsculo visit the Sexto. So yeah, it grows step by step.
Sure.
Not fast.
Outra Cena community. Tell us a bit about that community and how you started it.
Before Outra Cena, still I was running the other club, but I started to organize parties with a friend during the pandemic. That was called Polenta, and the idea was to start to create a party and hoping to create a community around music. I think I was not that good at it. Also, to my defense, the pandemic's conditions offered by the few clubs that were opening were not really good. So I think the way I would have tried to attract them would have been to create really good productions, but I never felt that there were that much openness from venues to welcome the parties and the type of sound that I wanted to champion. It was at that moment that I really understood that, okay, if I want this to go forward, I need to have my own space with my own way of doing things, because in the end, that's more what I know how to do it. Okay, create a space, and then I don't know how to build a community, but I do know how to make people join a project and bring their communities. So I was lucky surrounding myself with people that were really good at bringing also their own communities, and it's what was initially a small scale project became something bigger through the staff first and foremost. I repeat it, but also then for the artists that we were inviting, and then people start to understand what we're doing, like what kind of music we like to offer, and they come and they discover the club, and it's organic as well. And I don't think we have like one community. We're not a community space per se. I want to host community events that address specific communities, because I think it's really beautiful, and when it happens, it's really moving to see. But I don't feel that we have our own communities, but we are trying to create an environment where many different people from many different communities can thrive and really feel that, yeah, they adhere to the global vision that we have. And keeping things open like this, but with strong values, I think, have allowed us to build a strong base and a kind of, I hope, attachment to the place, to Outra Cena in particular. And then, yeah.
Crepúsculo is a king party, correct?
Yeah.
That's the
We wrote about that in the Instagram head. Like it's a kinky electronic music party with a sexy, freaky, fetish, avant-garde dress code. But that's too much strict about that. But that's party about the experiments, to express your some unusual roles or sexuality with the music experience in the same time. So yeah.
Have you had any challenges, any pushback, any issues when it comes
Every
to
time the challenge is to keep communication in the Instagram with the aesthetic what we would like to express, because it's some of issues about the nudity and something like that. But in general, in compare with Ukraine and Europe, is very like easy to do such kind of stuff and to express yourself in this way. So I more happy than not in this. Yeah.
sweet? Outra Cena is a very open-minded space. It's a very queer-friendly space. Have you had any challenges, any issues, whether it's with the scene in general or with authorities, for example?
Um, e- each night is a new challenge because as the club's reputation grows, more and more people want to come, and it's really challenging to maintain the environment and openness that people felt when arriving, because many times queer communities are the first to discover and to really occupy this kind of spaces. And yes, we are clearly trying to create the friendliest condition possible for queer communities, and it's an objective to maintain that. And people need to understand that while entering this space, they need to adjust their behavior and understand certain dynamics and respect them. And it's not being the space is completely welcome for open to anyone that really wants to understand these rule of behavior and accept them willingly, and don't see us as trying to lecture them or be pedantic or snobbish or whatever or exclusive. It's not about that at all. We just have the security of the staff and our visitors to the core of what we are doing, because it's the very condition for the whole show to happen, to people to enjoy themselves the way we want them to. So yeah, that's something that really is in our DNA and that we always discuss. And regarding the authorities, for now we're fortunate. I mean, we had our fair share of issues, like any spaces, but generally I felt that the few authorities that really came into the club and visited it, they were quite enthusiastic about the project. So hope that will be maintained. And the reason for it also to be maintained is for us to be very careful about what happens in the club, people to be as safe as possible so that we don't attract attention. And you can always be bullied, of course. Many clubs have been like unjustly bullied even recently. So this is super wrong, and we stand with places that have been victim of that. But the more you care about the behavior of the people that come, the less you have issues. And so far, it's been fairly okay on that point, because we are being very strict when needs be.
Okay. Electronic music fosters a sense of community, but sometimes there's a lack of unity from one scene to another, one party to another. Do you guys agree with this? And if so, how can we go about changing it?
I'm actually not feel that's too much intensive. That we have some of issues to each other, community, the lack of unity. I don't know. I think the a lot of groups who do the different stuff, and sometimes it's really very different in style and values and perception of everything they do. And but I not feel like it's some of troubles because of that. The unity, probably it's not enough communication between probably sometimes, but if it's reasonable, we can do that. Not so far ago, it was established the new group of electronic communities of Lisbon by Felipe from what the group of Felipe
Lifestyle.
Lifestyling, yeah. Yeah, so this group created and probably deliver more unity to the city. Um, I'm not feel actually. What about the question? I'm not feel that we have the lack of unity. Uh, Everybody is do what they do, and that's not.
I feel like Lisbon is a bit more united than other cities, perhaps. Maybe it's a localized issue. I lived in Barcelona for a couple years, and there it felt like everybody was against each other and not moving towards the same objective, which is to offer unique experiences for people. So
Yeah, I think I beg to differ. I've been here 10 years, and I sense that there's still a lot of gatekeeping, a lot of competitiveness. Sometimes it's changing clearly, and um, Valentin is the living proof of it. And
is it a
over
like Portuguese versus the world issue?
not
Or
necessarily. No, I think I'm not gonna get friends with that, but I think it's generational, and it's not always been like this. Just because maybe it's because nightlife here and running a club is such a it's a hard endeavor. It's like each night is a new challenge. If people don't show up, you're losing money a lot. The government is not helping at all. So pretty much all venues are working as private projects. No one relies on subsidies. So I can understand that for many people it's a matter of, okay, we need to win this thing. The city is not that big. There's no space for everyone. So yeah, we're gonna be competitive. So maybe it was how certain aspect of nightlife were built, but I don't feel that it's the case of many people nowadays. Have very good relationships with almost all nightlife venues in Lisbon. Some I just don't know about, but I never felt any animosity, at least directly to me. So I think you are right saying that there's a lack of communication for sure, and also maybe people are not realizing that in between venues, like there's an opportunity lost, I think, that to create a stronger local scene in Portugal in general, because there are many talented artists that should be booked in many clubs in the world. And if you compare it to some other scenes that are more or less the same size in country in terms of populations or whatever, and certainly the same level of talent. Some are making a better job as really building and insisting on making some local artists grow, and we lack certain structures, maybe stronger booking agencies, maybe clubs of a certain reputation that really puts the highlights on local artists. We're the first that should be doing that even more, and I think that's a mission that all venues here should have, is to contribute to making the local scene stronger, and it really goes through solidarity and unity, as you're saying. This I don't like to call that an industry, but like whenever this sector is hard enough for people not to collaborate. Maybe, yeah, talk. I'm gonna do that kind of lineup this night. What are you gonna do this night? So that we address different kind of genres or communities to spread a bit better the crowds, instead of trying to really compete and get everyone. That could help, because Lisbon is a small city, and there's tons of very interesting projects nowadays, more and more, of growing quality. But sometimes I go to an event that I think is very interesting, music-wise, and has good production, etc., and it's half empty because there's just so many things happening. So
there's a big offer in Lisbon
Yeah.
for its size.
By the way, I want to say that's one of initiative of this association, New Bern. That's share the plans and the rights between all the community to not stay with the few events in one day and the next week nothing. To make more like smart.
I think that's right.
Yeah, and I want to say, in the context you said, that's a competition, also that's a field to create some of new ideas. If you need to have a competition with some groups, you need to create something new, to explore new styles or new artists or something new. And it's also the way to develop the scene.
Clearly, no.
So it's like a negative and positive.
Yeah, of course.
Time.
Mostly it's positive, like where you were saying that venues have improved their sound system because some new players arrived and set higher standards. That's cool, and it was happening one day or another in Lisbon because there were too few offer, and now it's become almost too much.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing. It means like many people have will to create, and we're starting to be really a thriving city with such a nice offer. I remember I've been there for 10 years. There were nights where I was checking at what was happening and nothing was really appealing. Now each night, if you like club music, there's such a broad offer of things. So that's great. I don't know if all these projects will survive over time, because it's like people have less and less money. They go out less and less because it's the first thing that I think suffers from budget reductions. We see venues closing all over the world, so it's becoming a very hard industry to build projects in. But there's this energy and creativeness that I had never seen in Lisbon since I arrived. So this is very exciting.
Yeah. I think the Lisbon now in the top position in the Europe music, electronic music scene.
It can become a city that people really want to visit if we work together in harmony and in creating something very distinctive. And that's our own take on on club culture, like something that's specific to Lisbon. And I think clearly there's an opportunity here to make a lot of people visit on purpose the city to have fun and go out. So hopefully that's the future, and that will also benefit everyone, because in cities like Berlin, of course, it's a huge capital. There's so many people, and but it also relies on visitors that come and that go out. And Lisbon has never really been on the map for that. So if we can contribute it on, to put it back on the map, maybe also we'll get more attention from the said authorities. And let's dream.
I mean, I think per capita, Lisbon has one of the busiest party scenes. I mean, central Lisbon is what, 600,000 people, and how many parties, not just the clubs, but, independent parties like Sexto, like, I don't know, Anexo, lifestyling. There's a lot going on here, and I obviously support it.
It's not overcrowded, I think, all the parties here, in comparison with the different clubs. And in Berlin, for example, when it's 1,000 and more, I almost don't know any party in Lisbon with over 1,000 people capacity. It's a few.
Are you guys worried that it might get oversaturated with parties? And
I personally think it already is, but that's literally just my opinion, and I hope I'm wrong. If it is, it will just structure itself, and there will be maybe less party happening at the same time, or people will start to talk with each other. So okay, maybe let's not pick the same date to organize our parties, so that we can, fill up both our parties more, or everyone is finding their own communities and make them come back and back and back, and each one find its own working size. I mean, as long as a party can survive economically, it can be a small party, it can be a bigger one. At the end of the day, if everyone is paid and the thing can happen again, perfect. It doesn't need to be big. It's fine. I love small parties. I just hope that everyone that has nice initiative can continue to keep on. I hope that we can continue to keep on, and we have enough people. But I think there's possibility, and certainly it's indeed not a bad thing that so many things are happening at the moment.
so, besides the intercommunitary communication or lack thereof, let's say, what else do you think is missing from the scene in a general sense? Maybe not just specific to Lisbon, but the music scene in general. What is something that you would say the scene is missing?
As for me, that's understanding between the scene and the authorities. That's as for me, the authorities like feel the music scene like something which disturb or deliver some of issues, but I think they not really recognize the investment in cultural sphere and the economical sphere. And probably it would be good to create someone between the government authorities and municipality and the music scene to deliver the our demands, that I don't know, what we invest to the city, and how the city win with the scene. And probably they have for sure some of problems and issues, like a noise or something, like, I don't know, maybe some criminals, but we can solve a lot of questions from our side. But we need to be in communication. As I know, I never tried to and had no any a reason to do that. Had no experience to communicate with the city, with the municipality, but I heard a lot of things that it's not easy. But there are a lot of cities in the world who have the kind of uh, program of musical city to develop the cultural economical part, to attract the creative young people in the city, and all this city start to be more economical profitable, the like cultural level grow and everything, like Melbourne, New Jersey. I explored this topic when I used to live in Kharkiv, and we tried to make the Kharkiv kind of this music organized city. So I think in Lisbon nobody care about that, and probably we missed the uh, system of communication between the scene and the city. That's that's need to be, I think, developed. That's my vision.
It's kind of the same constatation. It's a lack of political vision and a still negative image about nightlife, or at least a reducted one, where people in charge still think that nightlife is what Bairro Alto is, for instance, or what Caixodra is, and that the solution is to concentrate everything in certain points and call it like, okay, this is nightlife, and not really understand the cultural impact, the attractivity that night spaces have for a city. And this lack of vision, I think, is kind of general about where Lisbon is going, and it should really be it shouldn't really be addressed the same as Berlin has a club commission, London or New York have mayors of night. Lisbon needs such a person, or at least structure, to organize nightlife and realize the impact that it can have on the attractivity on the city, instead of putting it all on, yeah, we're gonna be the city of startups, like having a lot of unicorns and thinking that this is cool. They need to understand that what attracts young people is not the city to be a paradise for digital nomads and tech bros, but a thriving nightlife. And yeah, this is where the great energies of the youth are in Lisbon, and this is what will maintain the city at its top level of attractivity. If they don't do that, it will just become a Airbnb city with no soul, and eventually most cultural projects will die, because it's really, really hard to do when you don't have any support from the authorities. And on the contrary, when you are seen as troublemakers, as a disruption in the negative sense of the term. So that's, yeah, that clearly is the major threat, and what the scene is lacking. So I join my friend Valentin on
I
that.
think all of us will be happy to contribute something to develop this part to in communication with city and solving the questions.
We need to run for mayor.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys 100%, but how do we go about making this change? I mean, we can't appoint a mayor of the night, right? So what is something we can do to move in that direction?
We can, it's a creator guild, create a syndicate of the night, and create a structure that brings all night players together, be just one voice, and then go to the local authorities with a strong speech where they see unity, and they can understand the importance of of this, and understand that everyone is thinking as a whole, and change the opinion of local authorities about this. I mean, next elections would be a nice deadline to organize that and be ready for that, and that would be real unity, political unity, and a kind of syndicate.
I'm already thought about that, and if we collect all together the communities of all the groups of nightlife in Lisbon, I think it would be over 100K people together. I mean, if we make some of initiative and make the statement for all this crowd to support us in this way, I think they will support, and we have the powerful instrument. It's our communities all together.
And in the end, it's taxes. So it's taxes, it's votes, it's something, you know, that speak to them.
Yeah.
So
Very direct benefits, the taxes. Beside of taxes, that's a lot of another one benefits, but I think they not recognize that. That's a cultural growth, the opportunities for the young generation who creative. Because as I know, I don't know, but I heard a lot of Portuguese young people go outside for the work. But it's not
Outside of Lisbon or outside of Portugal? Or
outside of Portugal.
they immigrate.
Yeah.
I mean, Spain is the same. It's one of the challenges for the economy is retaining the talent.
For sure, there are some of economical reasons, but in the same time, if it would be cultural, big community here, it's one of the reasons to stay. And if someone stay here, they pay taxes here, not in Germany or somewhere else.
I smell a revolution. Nowhere.
I like.
No, but even some financial facility or support. It means more. It could be directed to make better soundproofing, or some changing of rules where there are less people in front of venues. I mean, it can come with certain conditions, but at the end of the day, if everyone really puts some efforts in creating good conditions for nightlife, it can be much better organized and generate less complaints. Is the country ready for that? I'm not sure. It's still conservative in some aspects, and it's hard to create night projects that, I mean, I really did Outra Cena where I did it because we had no neighbors, and I knew we would generate no complaints, and that's what's happening. No one ever calls to complain because we take care of everything. We clean the street in front. We really go the extra mile to not bother anyone, and if we did, we would listen to people and try to, you know, don't generate trouble for anyone. But with proper communications and some means, it would be much easier. And it's, yeah, the people really need to realize that nightlife is essential for a society. It's essential. There's no, yeah, I believe it's essential.
Yeah, I do as well. And you said something that I think is very true, is that, I mean, ultimately it's mutually beneficial for everyone if the scene is aligned with the local government. So yeah, I hope to see this initiative come to life. I want to just talk quickly about those behind the scenes, right? What do you think is one of the biggest challenges about working in the music industry, whether it's club owner, promoter, or an artist?
I don't know. I think that's like in every kind of business. If it's your business and you do um, this thing for the living as well, you need to manage in that and be every time involved in process and know the stuff you do to have your own idea. It's a lot of things. That's a life with that and I don't know challenges. I don't feel the challenge is like something negative. I think it's like a kind of life, part of life, and all the challenges is for me that's very pleasure things. So from one side it can be that's all you do that's a challenges, but for another side that's everything is just for your developing and change your mind and change yourself and that's things more like I see my life and my work in this industry.
Okay. What do you think?
Um, I think to me, this project is not just a business. I really didn't do it for the money. It's a work of passion. So sometimes it's hard to draw the line between what's passion, what's work, because it is work. But since it's also a passion, I often don't realize that I'm actually working, and I do it like all day, all night, and I think it was okay when it was the beginning of the project because, well, it's normal. Like any project requires a lot of attention at first, but I think it's important to maintain a certain discipline and to find to really make time for a good balance between private and work life and yeah, remember that it is first and foremost also work and shouldn't be everything. But yeah, I enjoy it so much that sometimes I don't count my hours because I really love to do that. So it's also a luxury and it's great. I've been chasing this my whole life, like to feel that I'm doing something where I feel useful and I like to do, and where work doesn't feel like something painful, but something I'm very enthusiastic about. Um, but it's very exhausting as well when you accumulate day hours, night hours. Yeah,
I think sleep schedule is one of the biggest challenges of working.
it sure is. But you know, so it is for doctors or other professions. So this you know you can learn how to do it. It's not ideal for your body. That's 100%. But you can do it. I think it's more being able to create a layer of discipline to okay, that moment is sacred, and I don't work in these sacred moments. And I was not really able to do that the first year of Outra Cena, and I suffered from it. And this is something that I'm committed not to do again for the years to come.
For sure. I mean, the same way that an artist who's traveling and partying often can get burnt out real quick, I think it's also the same for people working in the industry as promoters, club owners, party organizers. It's you need to have discipline and set boundaries, because if not, the party.
Yeah, and you're working, but no one is. Like people that come and visit you, they are not working, and they expect you also to not really be working. And there's this very, yeah, light and excitement, energy that's all around. So sometimes you can get a bit carried on by that. again, it's self-discipline, I guess, just for me.
You guys both have teams working with you, beneath you, together. You have to hire people, I'm sure, often. What is your criteria? What is, besides a certain skill set, is there any specific values or something that is non-negotiable when you're selecting somebody to collaborate or work with you?
Yeah, I for the I actually my background from business, and I owner of the company with the over 100 employees in Ukraine in the e-commerce sphere. But for the musical sphere, I usually, not usually, probably all the time, I try to make deal with the people more close to this sphere, more about the soft skills and the feelings, what we do, mates, but not the professionals. That's in one time it's the hard part, because that's a challenge to organize all the process, to teach sometime, and but in the same way it's like a family, and all together we feel the same vibe, the same values, and do what we do together more like with more energy. But in the same time it's not enough sometimes. The simple business knowledges, or 'cause anyway, even if it's musical company or musical organization, you need to be like in the business process, because it's another way is difficult to survive, um, and that's a challenge. But I do with my heart probably more than with my brain to choose my team.
Sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Kevin? What's your approach to finding people to collaborate with? What's your criteria?
It's it grows progressively, but it's first I had some first key hirings that were people that I knew personally and I trusted completely, and I knew were really enthusiastic about the project, that really enjoy doing that. So that's the most important commitment. And then whenever I build trust with people, it's real trust. So I trust them on hiring other people that they know share the same values and are reliable. And it goes like this. And I like to try to maintain a always open. I make a point of knowing everyone that works for the project, and to build trust where they feel that, okay, it's really a mutual bond and they can count on me when they need it, and in return I expect to be able to count on them when I need them, which is like always, all the time when the club is working. But I like people to treat the project as it's if it is their own, because it's really a collective effort. And when you go to a club, the staff for me is really, really, really important. You need, if you feel that you have people that are enjoying themselves and like liking their work and feel that they are being treated well, they will treat clients well, they will treat themselves well, and it creates a whole positive energy. So this for me is a challenge. And yeah, I work also with a lot of feeling and emotions. If I sense that some people having a good heart and are there for like I can be relied on. This I like. Also, obviously, people that work for the club, they are here to get paid. It's a work first and foremost. So they need to be well treated in that aspect as well. So yeah, it's a mutual bond that you create over time. And I think, we have a core team that hasn't moved a lot since the beginning. And this, I think I'm proud of, because it means we're doing a good job, and people don't want to leave because they feel they are part of something meaningful. And I'm trying to always give them a voice to improve, to listen, to get their feedbacks, because it really is a collective effort. It's not just my decisions. I take them consulting different peoples for the future of the club and for our operations.
I think this is another one of those essential touch points that we mentioned before, the staff and how they treat you, but also how, their vibe and whether they're happy or not, it has an effect on your experience at an event. So I couldn't agree more. All right, guys, I'd like to wrap up with this question. And I'd like to know what has been the biggest lesson that you have learned or that the music industry has taught you so far.
I don't know. Probably that's actually what Kevin said, a bit about the balance of everything. The, how to combine the values you want to share, the economical positions, the conditions around, the changing of surroundings, as for me, the country. That's every time something new, every time some new requests and challenges, and that's every time deliver some of your inner feeling about flexibility, and that's a lesson. That's every time you are flexible, need to create something new, and need to adapt for the times, for the people around, for the vibes around, the culture around, and that's teach a lot, and that's cool. Yeah.
What about you, Kevin?
I think it is the diversity of the person that you meet in nightlife, each one with their life stories. You find that there's people that really I think it's a sector that draws really interesting persons that have like quite outstanding life stories, that have good politics and good values, and it goes just beyond the music and the passion about it. Obviously there's the passion around music is the greatest thing, because you can discuss it for forever, but also knowing what people stand for and believe in this underground, I don't like that word, but the kind of underground scene, I think is great. And I've made really nice encounters, and I knew a lot of interesting people that taught me stuff that I probably wouldn't have known had I been following a more classic corporate path, I believe. So yeah, the people I met, for sure.
Excellent. Well, guys, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure getting to learn more about you, about your projects. And for those of you at home, stay tuned for chapter 2 of Field Notes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, nice.
Great.